We good? Thank you for joining us for the press conference for the Kentucky women's basketball team. We're joined at the podium by head coach Kenny Brooks and student athletes Georgia Amoore and Deja Lawrence. And we will begin with an opening statement from our head coach.
Congratulations to Kansas State. It was a very good basketball game. Hope everybody was entertained. It was really fun to be a part of. Two good basketball teams going at it. They made probably one more play than we did, so they're moving on. So congratulations to them. Hard fought, and it's an emotional time for us right now. Obviously, these two young ladies beside me represent everything that we stand for, and so to see this season come to an end is a little disappointing. But regardless, it was a heck of a year. It was one of the more enjoyable seasons I've ever been a part of, and a large part was because of their leadership.
We'll open it up with questions for our student athletes.
Maybe with ESPN, walk us through kind of that last possession and kind of what was running through your mind when you got free on the baseline and then saw that first bounce as you kind of watched that flash shot go.
Nothing. No, we ran that play. We've run that play all year. They kind of bit when I went off the handoff. Usually it is a handoff, so I had to reject it. And as soon as I caught it, I realized how open I was, and it's up to fate at that point.
Jenna Lifshin, Kentucky Colonel, Georgia. First, I want to congratulate you on an amazing season. You opted to take your 5th year of eligibility to come to Lexington. What was your favorite part about wearing blue and white, and what will you remember about this team?
It's deep. I think in the locker room, like we were kind of saying, that it's been such a blessing for both of us to bring Kentucky back. Obviously Kentucky is a name brand on the men's side, but I told the girls, it's up to you on whatever you decide, but hang around because it's only going to go up from here. It's an attractive style of play. Coach Brooks proves that he's a winner, so I think it's cool to be the foundation and be the, I don't know, just project the program forward. That's been the greatest thing, is seeing, the crowds come back game after game. Even Memorial, I didn't see the old one, but I heard of it. So it's been cool to play in the new one and to kind of just get things rolling back again.
Randy Maynard, Nolan Group Media. Georgia, I was super impressed through the handshake line at the end of the game, how you kept a stiff upper lip and you weren't dragging your demeanor, and like many players I've seen who had such a misfortune at the end of the game. How could you have such a good demeanor?
I mean, I'm not going to let one shot affect 5 years. That's pretty much it.
Deja, this one's for you. This is Brad with College Sportscast. Kind of the same with what they asked Georgia. I mean, for you coming into Kentucky this year and getting to experience the NCAA tournament on this stage, what does that mean to you?
I mean, that's why I came here. I knew that I wanted to win and go far in the tournament, and I knew that coming here, we was going to make the tournament. So this year has been so amazing. I was telling my teammates that this year I've had so much fun. This is the most fun I've ever had in my years in playing college basketball. Just how we were strangers months ago. You should have seen our first practice putting in the offense. It was horrible. But now coming back to see what we've grown into in just a short amount of time, and how we, just like Georgia said, the locker room, how we get along, just how we're always there for each other. It's been so much fun. I would never take this year for granted. I would never take playing with Georgia Amoore or being coached by Coach Brooks for granted. This year just been it's been so fun, and it was something that I will always share. So, yeah.
Tonya Witt, Rise Up Sports, more of a comment than a question, but I just want to thank both of you guys for taking a chance on Kentucky, injecting life into the Kentucky fan base in women's basketball, and I think I can say this for all of Big Blue Nation. Thank you.
Caroline Mikauskis, Lexington Herald Leader. This one's for both of you. We asked you, I think ahead of the Senior Day game, what you two have learned from each other. Now that this chapter has come to a close, I want to ask you that again, knowing all that you guys were able to lead this team to accomplish.
I'll go. I know just for me, G has taught me to, no matter what, again, show up and work hard. G has had an amazing career. I followed her career since she's came to college. I've always been a fan. I think when I first committed, she texted me. I said, "Oh, Georgia's texted me." But no, just always just showing up, being the best version of yourself. I don't think I've seen G have a bad day in practice or in a game or anything like that. So she's so mentally strong, and she uplifts us every day. No matter if we just turn the ball over, took a bad shot, or anything like that, she just shows up as the best version of herself, no matter what she's going through at home or outside of basketball. So that's the one thing that I will forever take, and always working hard. She didn't get in this position that she's in just because she showed up. She showed up every day and worked her tail off every single day. So I will always remember that, and just always, because of her, show up and work no matter what. And I know that if I do that, great things will happen. So
That's sweet. Deja, I mean, she makes the most out of every single situation she's put in, you know, on the court, off the court, whatever it is. Like, she might not be seen to be the go-to, but she makes the clutch play. She makes the clutch defensive play. She's intelligent. People gravitate towards her, and I think that's her nature, you know. But she's not fake, you know. People don't gravitate towards her because she's, you know, this lovely person, which she is, but she's going to be real with you. She's going to tell you what she needs from you. So I think that transparency and honesty is the way that she is able to communicate is really, really impressive. And she's a great leader. And the girls love her. Like, I've never seen someone in 1 year come into a space and, you know, everyone just, no one has a bad thing to say about Dee. So I think it's just so impressive, you know, her move from Charlotte to here. Maybe like it was a different role on the court, but she's taken it with stride. She's made the absolute most out of her last year. She probably dreamed of being in this position, and she's made the most out of it. So it's really inspiring.
Deja, Ben Baby with ESPN. Y'all were up 5, and then they were able to find some success on the perimeter, both at the end of regulation and at the beginning of overtime. Is there anything y'all maybe could have done a little bit differently to make sure that maybe those were maybe tougher looks or things of that nature?
yeah, obviously we just had a lapse, just being more aware of who was on the perimeter and things like that. So just being more aware, more locked in those final possessions.
Any other questions for our student athletes? Last one.
Alex Wyatt, Rise Up Sports Media. Georgia, you have a really special relationship with Coach Brooks. Can you just kind of talk about that? And I'm sure you will, but will you be staying in touch with him moving forward?
No, actually, we're cutting off contact, like as of right now. No. I think the coolest thing, and he said it in the locker room, and I already had thoughts about it, like, it's not the end. Like, that's the coolest thing. But I think nothing really needs to be said. You know, you can look at every single year. You can look at my decision to come here. Like, this year, we probably drained ourselves in some capacities to be successful. And I think every single day we treated it as extra. You know, we weren't supposed to have this, so let's make the most out of it. So I think it's going to be weird not being coached by him, but, it's not like I can't just FaceTime him. Like, I'm sure I'm going to be blowing up his phone again and probably asking for the next couple of sweatshirts that they get next year. And I told the girls I'll be coming back for practice and I'll be putting on a red jersey and being annoying. But it's not over. It's not over, and that's why I'm not overly upset about it, because it's not. Like, it's not like we're parting ways and I'm moving back to Australia and using landline phone. Like, no, like we're still going to be very much connected.
Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, we'll open it up with questions for the head coach.
Jenna Lifshin, Kentucky Colonel. Coach, multiple times this season you've mentioned that in practice and games with Georgia, sometimes you don't know who's coaching who. Looking at this season specifically, what have you learned about her and about yourself through your relationship?
Her growth, maturity has gone through the roof this year. And, you get to a point where sometimes you have special players and you kind of know that it's time for them to move on, because she was just so special. She was coaching us some. She was interjecting her thoughts more. And this year, probably more so than any, they became conversations. It wasn't a lecture. It wasn't, hey, you do as I say. They became conversations. And when they become conversations, you're in a special situation because not every coach gets to have that relationship with the player. And I've been blessed to be able to have that to the point where she didn't just do what I said. You know, she wanted to know why, and it became a point where it was a two-way street. And it's fun. You know, sometimes some coaches don't ever get it. Sometimes you get it once. But, you know, when you have it, you learn to appreciate it. And as she mentioned before, this year was very special for our relationship because it grew even more so when you didn't think it could grow.
Kenny Ben Baby with ESPN. As I know y'all were devoting a ton of resources to Aoka down in the paint, but as they were getting hotter from the perimeter, how do you determine and kind of gauge that giving backside help versus kind of leaving that open on the wing?
Pick your poison, you know, and with Aoka Lee and the lineup for them, they're a different basketball team. And what we had to do is, you know, I had to go back to watch film from early, I think, January, you know, to kind of see what they were and how they were doing things. And, you know, it's like last year, you know, I remember, you know, we lost an All-American right before the tournament started, and we had to change everything that we were. This year, they gained an All-American, you know, and that's going to bode well for them as she continues to get in shape and be able to get in game shape because they're not a 5-seed team the way they're constructed right now. They're a 2 or a 3. And so I don't know who they play. I think if USC wins, that's going to be a tough matchup because they would have been a top 10 team if Aoka had been there the whole season. And so we ran into a situation where they benefited from, you know, adding an All-American. And so we had to look at it. It was almost like, okay, give up an easy 2 or try to contest a 3 on the perimeter and hope that they missed. And in the beginning, they did. You know, we were able to, you know, build a little bit of momentum. But then, you know, Poindexter, you know, give her credit. You know, she knocked down some very tough shots. And we had a couple of situations where we had miscommunication and she got free and we didn't contest her shot. But you give her credit. She stepped up, she knocked them down. I think she made 8 of them.
I know the first season didn't end the way you wanted to, but what do you think about your first overall season here in Lexington at Kentucky?
Yeah, the season's going to end the way that somebody wants it for one program in the country. You know, whether it's today, whether it's next week, whether it's yesterday, whether it's, you know, whatever. You know, you're going to have this sting. But I think, you know, in my maturity as a coach, you take the emotion out of it and you look at the facts, and the facts are, you know, I don't know, you know, what people expected us to do this year, but we always believed in ourselves, and even though we had adversity, we stepped up and the kids reinvented themselves, but they always believed in themselves. And the first year was, you know, I would deem it a success. You know, we were 23 and I think 8 now, and you know, we're one floater away from going to the Sweet 16. But more importantly, we built the foundation. Big Blue Nation was terrific tonight. They were loud. You know, they got to witness a great basketball game, and I think we're gonna build off of that. You know, it's been a terrific year. I love Lexington. I love what Big Blue Nation is willing to put into and pour into women's sports, and so I think it's something for us to be excited about. And overall, I think it was a success. It's a lot of fun.
Coach Corey here with Bosmer Media. How big of an impact has this fan base and the culture here in Lexington made on you in your first season?
Well, that's why I came here. And obviously, when you make a major move like I did, you know, you have to have reasons. And part of the reason was, you know, I felt like this was a sleeping giant when you have the Kentucky brand behind you, and you can bring in good players who are going to play a really good style of basketball. It's just going to energize the fan base, and I haven't been disappointed. And you know, I think Kentucky fans are very knowledgeable. They want to win, but they also want, you know, you to represent the university, the brand, in a very positive way. And I think that we've done that. So the future's bright. You know, we had a very good first year. You know, it's, you know, I don't know when you guys hired me, but if you think about 1 year ago today, and then they say, okay, 1 year from today, you're going to be sitting there, and you know, you were a floater away from going to the Sweet 16. Pretty remarkable, you know. And once the sting, you know, leaves, and I sit down and really reflect on it, you know. And I told the kids, I said, this is one of the most enjoyable seasons I've ever had in my 24 years of coaching because of the way that they came together.
Caroline McCaskis, Lexington Herald Leader. Coach, you mentioned, all of the changes that came with taking this job, and now that the season has come to a close, will you speak to the role that your family played throughout this process?
Yeah, man. Ooh, you just touched a nerve right there. I couldn't do it without them, and the way that they support, and it was a big reason why I came here with the administration and their support of me with my family by my side. That's the only way I could have done it. And obviously it's well documented what my wife has gone through, what we've gone through with my wife. And we're a village, and I can't, she's the biggest fan that I have. My daughters are the biggest fans that I have. This is an opportunity for me to be able to get some of that time back that I missed when I was a young coach. And I felt like I was so busy making a life, I wasn't living a life. And I get an opportunity now to just get bonus time. And, they're so positive and just such a positive influence on my program. Gabby played 4 games, but she's the life of the party in the locker room. She helps humanize me. The girls would go to her and say, well, is he mad? And she can interpret all that. She can tell them what's going on. That's really what helped our locker room, other than Georgia knowing me. Kendall is, she's a big supporter. They're basketball fans. They have basketball minds, and they're there for the kids. And you can't forget Chloe. Chloe's in France. Chloe stays up, and I don't know what time it is now, but she watches every one of our games, and she calls me and she asks me, and she'll preface it and she'll say, this is a coaching question, or this is a dad question, and she'll say, why did you do this? Why did you do that? But it's just a support, and I couldn't do it without them. And I don't want to do it without them, because I think that it gives us an opportunity to make this program a family. And so many people will look at it and say, okay, they'll try to make the narrative that you can't intersect family and business. And I learned from Vic Schaefer that you can do it. You can do it. You have to do it the proper way. But my family, they do a really good job, and I couldn't do it without them. And that's why I'm here. Because they gave me the opportunity to inject family into a program, and that's the way that we will operate.
Hey, Coach. Brad from College Sportscast. So down the stretch, seemed like it was haymaker after haymaker.
It was.
In the game. At the end of the game there, the last 20 seconds or so, it seemed like you guys had great effort, and several of them just laid on the rim. Just kind of walk me through that.
Yeah, we had opportunities, throughout the whole basketball game, and I think that everybody will try to focus on the floater that Georgia missed at the end. But I think, Georgia had a 3 towards the end. Amelia Hassett had a wide open 3. We had opportunities, So we're gonna leave. We know we went down fighting. We had the opportunities that we wanted. Yes, we wish we could have stepped up and knocked them down, but it wasn't for lack of effort. And some of the things that happened, you give them credit. We had a lead, and they had to make shots, and they did, and they made those big shots. We came back down. We were countering, and it was a terrific basketball game, and I think that a lot of people will be able to enjoy it. There had to be a winner. There had to be a loser. And I think that's what makes March so special. But we had our opportunities. We know that. We didn't fumble it away. We didn't kick it away. We didn't make a bad decision. We had the opportunities. They stepped up, made theirs, and we had the opportunity. We just didn't make ours.
That's all the time that we have for questions. Just want to send a special thank you to each of you in this room, too, for your coverage and support of women's basketball.
I echo that sentiment, because you guys help grow this sport, with your hard, tireless effort. You guys do a really good job of putting it on paper, whether I agree with what you say or not. I really appreciate your efforts, and this game will grow if you guys keep covering like that. So thank you guys so much.